again. Okay, we have that Missouri has 8 commercial airports. What key math term are we going to underline in number 1? Mariana? Fewer. Fewer is the word we're looking at. Okay, that's what we're going to underline. That's an important math term here. Okay, now they want us to circle the operation you would use to determine how many airports are located in Alabama. Okay, so if we underline fewer, what are we going to be using? What operation? Subtraction. We're going to use subtraction. So if the fewer, so key word was fewer, which means subtraction. It's also right up there on our poster at the top, up there where it says subtraction. Fewer is one of the key words that you're going to see that means to subtract. Less than means to subtract. They're all up there. How much less? All right, so number 2 now. California has 3 times as many airports as Georgia. So we're trying to figure out how many airports are in Georgia. So what key math word are we going to underline, Mariana? Times. 3 times as many. You can underline the 3 part too. 3 times would work. All right, now, but read the way this reads. California has 3 times as many airports as Georgia. We're trying to figure out Georgia's airports. So what operation are we going to use to find that? Mariana? Nope. Division. If we were trying to find California's, yes, we would do multiplication. But since we're trying to find Georgia's, and it reads California has 3 times as many, you have to use division. Okay? So since we know that California has 3 times as many, we have to divide to find Georgia's. This one here. Okay, it says Missouri has 2 times as many airports as Ohio. How many airports does Ohio have? Okay, so since it reads Missouri has 2 times as many, so I'm underlining that. We're trying to figure out how many Ohio has. So what operation are you going to use? Division. It's just like number 2, so we're dividing. What's 8 divided by 2? 4. So Ohio has 4 airports, major airports. Once you have all that, go on to the next page. All right, so today we're just going to work on writing 1-step expressions. We'll do 2 steps tomorrow. We're going to do this one at a time. So, writing phrases as algebraic expression. To write verbal phrases as algebraic expressions, you follow the steps below. Okay, so the first step, you just got to describe what's going on. You don't have to write anything down, just figure out what's going on in the situation. That's where you underline. That's where you circle. Okay, the second step is what they call defining the variable. Okay, when you define the variable, it means you pick a letter and you're using that to represent the unknown number that we don't know. So, looking at number 1 here. Okay, it says $8 more than Ryan earned. What do you think we should underline there as a key math term? So $8 more than Ryan earned. Mariana? More than. Okay, that's what we're going to underline. Okay, looking at our posters, what does more than mean? What are we going to be doing? What operation? What's more than mean? What are we going to be doing? Jaden?
I don't know.
Pay attention, please. Anicia, what do you think more than means? Guys, look at the posters. I have 4 of them up there for a reason. Use those resources. Ella? Huh? Addition. We're going to be adding. Okay, now, looking at this, it says $8 more than Ryan earned. What do we not know there? What number are they not telling us? They're not giving us a number for something in that specific problem. Ruby?
They're not giving us a number for what Ryan earned.
Exactly. We don't know how much Ryan earned. That's what we're going to use the variable for. So what letter do you guys want to use for Ryan's money? Any letter. A it is. Okay, so $8 more than Ryan earned. A, so this is how you define a variable. A equals, okay, our letter equals how much Ryan earned. So you have to do this every time you write an expression or an equation. You're going to do the same thing next chapter. You have to pick a letter. It honestly does not matter what letter you choose. So you have 26 choices. But you have to make sure you know what it's representing. In this situation, it's representing how much Ryan earned. Okay? We don't know that number because we don't know how much he actually brought, like how much money he earned. Okay? So if it's $8 more than, okay, we already said it's addition. Okay? We already said we don't know how much Ryan's earned, so that's A plus how much? There you go. That's it. A plus 8. And you can't solve that because we don't know how much Ryan earned. That's why we use the letter. That's why we use the variable.
So then what is this?
That's what we just wrote. They just chose a different letter than us. Like I said, you can choose any letter you want. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Yes? Okay, we'll get to that later. Okay, so number 2. So it says $10 less than the original price. What key math term should we underline there? What is important that we need to know? Jade?
Me? Dad?
No. Look in this one right here, number 2. Look in your book. You have it in front of you. What key math term should we underline so we know what operation we're going to use?
Subtract.
Oh no. Subtract's not in there. What are we going to underline?
I don't know.
$10 less than the original price. Less than.
What do you mean in the thing?
No. So, we have less than. Now, looking at this, what do we not have a number for? What do we not know? Amoriana?
Oh, what $10 is less than, like what is less than?
So, the original price. So, we don't know the original price, all right? So, that's what we're going to define our variable. So, what letter do we want to use for the original price? C works. C equals the original price. That's how you would write it. That is called defining the variable. You're telling us what that letter represents. Well, we don't know what the original price was, so we have to use that variable to represent it. Now, it says $10 less than the original price. So, if we start with the original price, C, what does less than mean? What operation? Subtraction. What are we subtracting? 10. C minus 10. That's it. So this is what you have to have for your entire answer. Defining the variable, and then just write your expression. Okay? You just got to use, that's why I want you to underline. That's why I want you to look at the key terms, because they tell you what to do, basically. All right, so let's look at number 3 now. So 4 times the number of gallons. So what are we going to underline here? Mariana?
4 times.
4 times. So that's what we know. We know that's important. Okay, so basically in words, we know it's 4 times the number of gallons. That's what they told us. Now, what is the unknown? What do we not know the number for? What do we not know the number for, Jalen? The gallons. We don't know the number of gallons. So what letter are we going to use?
J.
J works. Let J represent number of gallons. Okay, I'm not going to make you model it. If you want to, go right ahead. There's no reason you need to do that if you don't want to. So, now we got to write this expression. So, 4 times the number of gallons. So what does 4 times mean? What are we doing there? What operation? 4 times the number of gallons. Multiplication. So in this case, we're multiplying. So when we write this, we're not going to use the symbol anymore. It's not going to be, so because it's 4 times the number of gallons. So 4J. You write it just like that. 4, and then whatever variable we chose. We chose J.
So why do you do it not like together?
So, what do you mean not together?
I mean, why do you do it together?
Because that's, so yesterday we talked about how you can put the number and the variable together. That means multiplication. You can also write it with the symbols if you want, but it's better to start getting in the habit of this because that's how you're going to write it in the future, especially when we start getting into equations. So whenever you have multiplication and you have just the number times the variable, you just need to write it out like that. Okay? All right, let's jump over to page 465. We're going to do a couple more of this. A couple more.
You said 465?
Yep, just one page over, basically. All right, so number 1. So first off, we got to define a variable, and then we got to write the algebraic expression. That's part of the assignment. So number 1, 6 feet less than the width. What should we underline? Anicia? Less than. All right, so what is the unknown? What do we not have a number for? Moriana?
The width.
The width. So I'm going to say W equals the width. So we know that when we put W in there, it's representing the number that's for the width because we don't know what it is. They didn't tell us. So now, all right, if it's 6 feet less than the width, how would this expression look? How are we going to start it? What do we start with? So 6 feet less than the width. It's going to be subtraction, so we know that. But what goes first?
No, the letter.
It would be the W because it's the width minus 6. Because the number that we don't know is 6 feet less than that. Okay, so you got to do W minus 6. All right, let's look at number 2. 6 hours more per week than Theodore studies. What should we underline there? More than. You can do more than. Okay, what do we not know, have a number for? What do we not know? We're on number 2. Oh, you're looking at number 3. How long he studies. So I'm going to put H equals hours Theodore studies. All right, so what does more than mean? What operation are we doing? Jalen? Addition. So you can go ahead and put your addition symbol down. Now, if it's 6 hours more per week than Theodore studies, what do we start with? H plus. There you go. That's it. Okay, that's a one-step expression. So what you need to do, first step, underline the key word. That way you know what operation you're going to do. Second step, you have to define a variable. So pick a letter and then tell us what it represents. And the last thing, write the expression. 3 steps for this. So let's go back, and I want you guys to try to do A, B, and C. Back on page 463, right in the middle of the page. So underline, define the variable, write the expression. I'll give you a few minutes to work on that. Letter A, we have 4 points fewer than the Bulls scored. So what are we going to underline there? What should we underline?
Fewer.
Fewer than. Okay, or just fewer, that's fine too. All right, so what do we not know? What's going to be our variable here, Moriana?
The Bulls score.
How many points they have? So any letter you want. I'm going to put P equals Bulls score or points. You can put either way. Okay, so then what is our expression going to look like, Moriana?
Minus 4.
Perfect. P minus 4. N minus 4. Whatever letter. If you guys don't have the same letter, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, mine was B.
Like I said, you have 26 options. Okay, letter B. 12 times the number of feet. Okay, what should we underline here? 12 times, or just times. What do we not know? What's the unknown?
The number.
The number of feet. So I'm going to put, you can put F, you can put N, I'm going to put N. N equals number of feet. Okay, so what is this expression going to look like?
E.
What?
Whenever number you have times 12. 2 times 12. I mean, divided by 12.
Not division. So 12 times means multiplication, so it'd be 12N. 12N.
Oh, yeah.
Remember multiplication, you just write them together. Now you can use the symbol, there's nothing wrong with that, it's not wrong, but I want you to get in the habit of doing this, okay? Like I said, if you wrote it as 12 times N with the symbol, still correct, it's still multiplication. All right, letter C, the total cost of a shirt and $8 pair of socks. What should we underline in this one?
Total.
The total cost, good. Okay, so what do we not know? What's the unknown here?
The cost of it.
Cost of what?
The shirt.
The cost of the shirt. So I'm gonna put C equals cost of the shirt. Because they gave us how much the socks cost, they didn't tell us how much the shirt was. So what is this expression going to look like? What operation are we using? If you're finding the total cost, what do you do? Addition. So it'd be C plus 8. The cost of the shirt plus the cost of the socks together. That's how you find the total cost. Yes. Okay. So the rest of the time you have the IXL, it's 6Y1. It does have a star next to it. Okay. It's just like this. Okay. Take your time. You got the rest of the hour. No.